I sit here wondering, am I the only one who saw what I saw during last Saturday's fight between an aged Mike Tyson and a beefy, nearly 28-year-old Jake Paul? No one else seems to be talking about it, so I feel I have to get it off my chest. I'm sure we all noticed how aged Tyson looked in the ring. He was lackluster from start to finish, to say the least. But that's not per se what has bothered me since his subsequent loss to Jake Paul. What still irks me now, in fact, is that Tyson is still being held up as an old man who did his best despite being twice Paul's age, despite being an old man of 58. Now, there's no other way for me to say this, but I'm sorry, that was not the great performance of a fit, healthy, and strong 58-year-old, let alone a 58-year-old pro athlete. We must not look at this prematurely aged man as an inspiration any of us could hope to strive for at just 58 years old. Again, I'm sorry, but Tyson was a wreck. I mean, quite literally, he looked wrecked. From the moment he sheepishly strutted out towards the ring, he looked like he'd rather have his feet up in front of the telly. 58 is not retirement age. Sure, from boxing and getting hit in the head it is, but I'm not talking about that here. I'm not saying it would have been easy to get knocked about for 16 minutes and still keep going. I don't know much about boxing, but I do know the human body. Tyson was a less than enthusiastic version of himself last Saturday, and what we all witnessed was a desperate match between two opponents equally keen to score points for purely selfish reasons. Admittedly, I am no sports commentator, but again, I do know about living well and taking care of oneself. That is, after all, what I do. My only crux here is that we call what we saw for what it was. 16 grueling minutes of borderline boredom. A lifetime of alcoholism, drug abuse, and cheating on drug tests have evidently taken a huge toll on Mike Tyson, and at the grand old age of 58, he now has 78-year-olds running rings around him. Never mind 28-year-olds. Consistent hits to the head evidently don't do wonders for the brain, and to be fair, we must throw in our appreciation for a recent health scare, including a claimed blood transfusion. So we can understand why Tyson should at the very least be hanging up his boots in professional boxing. Given the circumstances, I'd rather see Jake Paul fight a contemporary and be amazed at Tyson's invigorated new health as he invests in himself and reinvents his attitude to life. We saw neither of those things last weekend, however, and if I had known the extent of Tyson's withdrawal beforehand, I would not have shown up to watch the fight on Netflix, along with 60 million other people who waited so patiently for the main fight to begin. With all due respect to the fights beforehand and to the subsequent wins and losses, the main attraction was a major letdown for us all, and the faces on those who'd paid for ringside seats on the night told the story of what most of us were thinking.